welcome to my channel. On today's video, I am going to be talking to you guys about my career. Okay, we are discussing these past few months of movie premieres, award shows, what it's really like to work in the entertainment industry and in the entertainment space, especially as a budding journalist. I am here to give you guys the 411, the inside scoop, and I'm going to highlight some of my favorite events within like these past few months. So let's hop right into this conversation. Okay, first things first, I definitely want to give space and acknowledge the fact that we are currently in the middle of two very active strikes. It is the writer strike and the actor strike, and I am just really saddened by what's going on in the entertainment and media industry, and specifically I am very much so in support of what it is that they're standing for and what it is that they're asking for. I would definitely encourage you guys to look it up, look into it, see how you can, become knowledgeable about what's going on in the industry and how we all can contribute to it and how the industry is truly gonna change. I hope not for the worse, but I do feel like just the systems and the powers that be have already planted several seeds, and now we are just kind of looking at the manifestation of something that's been brewing for a very long time. So, I want to give them space for that, and I just truly hope that they get everything that they are asking for in this strike. And now that that's out the way, I want to talk to you guys about these premieres and award shows and things that I've been to, because it's probably not going to be happening for a very long time, because the industry is kind of sort of shutting down right now. So I do have my handy dandy notebook, and I have several events that I want to highlight, but I also want to give you guys inside scoop into what it's like actually working in media and entertainment. Okay, I'll tell you one thing, it's definitely not 9 to 5. Okay, it's very much so 12-hour days sometimes, 10 to 12-hour days sometimes if you are working a regular work day in addition to attending one of these movie premieres. And so let's go ahead and start. This is like in no particular order, but some of my highlights of this year so far was attending NAACP red carpet, the Creed premiere, the Bridgerton Queen Charlotte premiere, They Clone Tyrone, BET Awards, the Fear God fashion show. I've done one-on-one interviews with some of my favorite cast, including the cast of Bel Air and also BET Sisters. And guys, this has only been within like the past few months, okay? Like, I would definitely say from like February to now, these are the type of events that I've been involved with. And I say involved with because these are the ones that I've been very active with, right? So outside of my regular work duties, I've actually interviewed celebrities this time around. I've actually been on the red carpet talking to some of your faves, some of my faves. I have been there, doing the work, and I've been writing articles, and really it's just amazing to be able to, be in a position where now my skills are speaking for themselves and my work is trusted and I'm dependable, and I can execute, and that's expected of me. And it's just amazing to see, like, wow, to finally be in this place, right? To finally be in the middle of like a manifestation is just amazing to me, because I wanted it for so long and I wanted it really badly, and I just kind of was like finding my way, because I did not necessarily have any direct point of contact when it came to helping me merge into this specific sector of news, right? So for NAACP, that started my year off phenomenally. Okay, NAACP awards was in February, and I was very excited because finally I was able to interview some some people, right? So I expressed to my manager that, you know, I want to put my journalistic skills to use. And I was so thankful that, you know, going through the proper channels and him trusting me and my skills and my background and my knowledge, that he's like, yes, I am putting my stamp of approval on this. This is something that I want you to get, something I want you to experience, something that I know you are capable of doing. So at the NAACP Awards, a standout interview of mine was when I talked to the woman who plays Sabrina on BET's Sisters. Okay, like me and her, we were kikiing and we had us a good time talking about one of my favorite shows. Okay, and I don't know about you guys, but when you are able to talk to and ask the questions to cast members about their character that may or may not be cutting up, it hits different. Okay, because I'm like, girl, like, what's going on with her? Okay, what's going on with this pending case? Okay, so that was amazing to be able to experience that. And months later, I met her co-star Mignon at the Queen Charlotte Bridgerton premiere that I was sent on my own. So this was my very first time being sent out alone. Usually we are paired up. I'm usually me as the person in my position, like social media, and usually paired up with an actual reporter. And this particular time I was sent on my own. I was trusted to, you know, do this story by myself. And so I was on double duty. I was getting social media content, and I also was getting the sound bites that I needed to write up an article. And I will link all my articles down below, guys, so you guys can read my articles that I work really, really hard on. Okay. The Queen Charlotte premiere was everything, because we all know how big the Bridgerton franchise is and how talented Shonda Rhimes is. Okay. And so I spoke to King George, the young lady Danbury, and also the grown, like the adult Queen Charlotte. So with these events, you have to make sure you prepare. Okay, so for me, I definitely did my research on them individually. I did my research on like the show, the characters, and I prepared my questions, and I felt like I asked some pretty good questions. Me and the young lady Danbury, we were talking about representation as a black woman, as a brown, okay, deep complexion black woman. What is that like? Stepping into this space, into this world of Bridgerton, where, you know, in her words, like, they appear to be colorblind, right? But really, in all actuality, the lid has been lifted, honey. Okay, in this particular season, race is talked about explicitly. And so just getting insight from her and, you know, her really tapping into this character and the steps that she had to take to get there was so amazing, so insightful. And the guy who played King George, the young King George, his name is Corey. He is brilliant, guys. Like, he was talking to me about how he did his research on the actual King George, and, you know, he spoke to previous Bridgerton characters like Jonathan Bailey and Regé John Page, and just being able to see, like, this is a new hungry actor, right? And he's making sure that he's diligent and he's crossing off the T's, dotting the I's, so he can prepare and be, you know, his best self, bring his best self to this role and put his best foot forward. And I talked to the older Queen Charlotte about, you know, her strength. You know, like, Queen Charlotte, y'all know, if y'all watch Bridgerton, y'all know that she is a very, very strong woman. And I asked her about that, like, you know, like, where does that strength come from? Because we've seen the adult version of her leading up to this, and now with her, we gonna see her being younger. You know, we can kind of get that insight. So talking to them was amazing, because for me, that is my why, right? Like, I really enjoy talking to people, getting to know people, getting to know their story, their background, and just kind of understanding their why and, like, you know, their purpose and what things they want to contribute to society, and being the one responsible to kind of bring that forth and doing their stories justice really does mean a lot to me, genuinely. And so like I mentioned, I met Mignon at the Bridgerton Queen Charlotte premiere. And she was just there, like, as a guest, walking the carpet. And I'm like, girl, we gotta talk about your character, Danny, okay? And so from there, we built a relationship. Her PR rep exchanged information with me. And so essentially she pitched me, you know, a story to be able to do this story on her. And just talking to her about like her character arc, and just the ins and outs of the show was like, it was so cool. It was such a great conversation about the larger issue of Black women feeling like they have to be strong all the time. You know, it's like we're not given that space to be vulnerable, to be weak, and for someone to have our backs and to be safe. So if you watch BT Sisters and you see how hardened Danny is, then now you know why. It's because she comes from a place of having to be strong. You know, her character has a background that I'm waiting for us to explore. Tyler Perry, please. We need the background story on the character so we as the audience can, you know, get that insight. And I thought it was really amazing how she was able to articulate herself, and she's very knowledgeable, and she's a cool girl. So, hey girl, if you watching this, she gave me a shout out on Instagram about, you know, me writing a great story on her, and I'm very appreciative of that. To me, those are the best compliments, when someone can say like, your work is great, your questions that you are asking are very great questions, and those are the compliments that do something for me, okay? Like, OMG. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, guys. Like I said, in no particular order, but I recently was at the BET Awards, okay? And so for me, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy, because growing up, I know y'all know, growing up, BET Awards used to mean so much to us, okay? Like, y'all remember those 106 in Park days, okay? BET was lit, okay? And I always dreamt of being at the BET Awards, like in the early 2000s, when it was like at its prime, it was at its peak. It was like literally a blockbuster event, okay? Like that was our blockbuster movie, okay? That was like our box office type of ordeal. And really, we was watching it from home, but it still was that big of a deal. And so just being able to be there on the red carpet, you know, interacting with Ray Shrimmer and interviewing Mooney Long and G Herbo and Christian Combs, and Flo Millie also stepped into Anaja's fashion corner to, you know, talk fashion. And so I thought it was really cool that I was able to have those moments, you know, with them. And once again, being prepared, guys, is key. Like, just being, you know, brushed up on the current events, the trends, the hot topics, okay, and just what, you know, what are people up to, just so that you can have talking points. Because every time you may not be able to thoroughly prepare like how you would be for a one-on-one interview that is scheduled ahead of time, right? Sometimes on these red carpets, you are just kind of like thrown people, like, do you want to talk to this person? Like, their PR reps will come to you and ask you like, hey, you know, I have so-and-so, they're here, they're ready, they're available, like, do you want to talk to them? And so you can say yay, you can say nay, but sometimes it kind of depends on if you want to talk to them, if you need to talk to them for your story or whatever the case may be. But I was able to get those people, and that was very fulfilling for me, especially G Herbo being a fellow Chicagoan, okay? So we definitely had our moment talking about what high schools we went to and what areas, what it's like growing up in the areas that we grew up in, and really being in LA, right? It's just kind of like full circle, like, wow. You know, humble beginnings and just trying to make something of ourselves. So that was amazing. 10 out of 10. Now for They Clone Tyrone, guys, I talked to John Boyega and Tiana Paris. And so that was a big deal, because I think those were the two biggest celebrities that I've interviewed so far. So They Clone Tyrone is actually a Netflix original movie, and it stars Tiana Paris, Jamie Foxx, and John Boyega, and I was able to talk to two of the three. I talked to John Boyega and Tiana, and it was just amazing to talk to them because hello Black excellence, like they are at the top of their game right now. And I asked them about, you know, this movie, okay? Like, you guys, I definitely want you to see the movie and come back and comment under this video to let me know what you guys think of it, because it was like a lot of themes and tropes and storylines in the sense of, I'm like, there's definitely inspiration that I see that has been drawn to this movie from like other movies or other eras. And so it was a pretty cool movie. I definitely had some things to say about it because I'm like, wait, whoa, what's happening here? You know? But I did notice one thing was that there was a theme of like blaxploitation. And so basically, okay, I study like film and TV a little bit in undergrad, and so I am aware of like the different themes and tropes and types of movies and series and things like that they have out there. And blaxploitation was a genre of film that was Black and exploitation, and so they brought it together and called it Black exploitation. And so this was a genre where it was like usually people fighting crimes, and specifically women like Foxy Brown, okay, you know, taking the lead and fighting crimes. And really it was very like action oriented, I would say that, but Black people were the lead. And so I'm like, you know what, this is giving that. And there was even a reference to someone called Tiana's character Foxy Brown, and Foxy Brown, Cleopatra, you know, Pam Grier was that girl. She was like the blaxploitation queen, okay? So I thought that was pretty cool that my mind frame, like my thought around it being that type of film, it checked out to be that. So I talked to Tiana about that. What was that like for her? I talked to John Boyega just about like the movie, the themes, like specific quotes that I, you know, took notes on, because I'm like, hold on, like this definitely, I want to get insight into what exactly his character meant when he said that, okay? So that's my type of thing. Like, I just really, like I said, enjoy talking to people, getting inside scoop, and just kind of picking their brain about what is really like being their character, what is really like playing them. Another part of the entertainment industry that a lot of people probably do not think is entertainment is the fashion industry, okay? So there are a lot of intersections within all of this, but specifically when it comes to fashion, you know, fashion make the world go around, okay? Like your favorite entertainers, they probably have stylists. They're probably attending fashion shows because they have to be brushed up on what's the latest trends, right? Well, I attended, or actually was invited to the Fear of God fashion show, and I thought that this was like a really monumental moment in my career because I had expressed my interest at work about me wanting to do more fashion coverage, and just really wanted that type of responsibility because that aligned with my own personal interest. And so, you know, I talked to the fashion guy at work, and he has a history of doing fashion journalism, fashion stories. And I talked to him, and he actually invited me to the Fear of God fashion show, and I was the reporter on that. And I just thought it was so amazing because like sitting that close up to see those fashions in real time, to be at like my first real fashion show in LA, like under palm trees with fireworks concluding the show, I'm like, whoa, like thank God for life, for real, because I just felt so alive in that moment. I just thought it was so cool. I was so proud of the article that I did, and I will link that down below as well. And I was like, this right here is amazing. This is what I want to continue to do. I definitely want to, you know, continue to get that fashion journalism experience and make my mark in the fashion world. And so I'm using this right here as a reference point that I can come back to because I will be someone great in the fashion space, because it really is something that I'm passionate about and have always been passionate about. Like when I was younger, I used to carry around this purple binder with like sketches and magazine cutouts, and I always just kind of saw myself as like a creative director, or you know, a stylist, or a fashion journalist. And so I am very much so trying to align myself with that, and I thought that attending this show and being a reporter for it was the perfect start. Another moment that really did it for me was talking to the cast of Bel Air, guys. Like, that was such a big deal to me because the preparation for that in and of itself was definitely a lot because of the historical element to it. And I'm going to insert a clip here so that you guys can see, you know, me behind the scenes, like prepping for it and just really being excited about it. Hey guys, so I am currently working on a fashion story. I am super duper excited. It is about the fashion for the show Bel Air. OMG. So I have been working on this for a little while now, just, you know, trying to coordinate with Jabari Banks's team, Coco Jones' team, Karrueche's team, and also the costume designer for the show. So I'm really excited because I love fashion, and what better way to mix fashion and journalism, because that's literally me like wrapped up in a bow. So I decided that I wanted to work on a story because, first of all, we already know like the original Fresh Prince, they was busting fits. Okay, like they was doing what they needed to do. They were so fashionable. Hillary and Will always had the cutest outfit, and even Ashley. So now Bel Air, I feel like they are definitely trying to, you know, continue with that tradition of, you know, being fashion forward. Obviously, they're using their fashion to express themselves. And, you know, I'm like, what better way than to tap into my fashion girl era than to go ahead and do a story about this very like popular show. And plus the historical aspect of it, right? Like, Fresh Prince of Bel Air is etched in cultural history, and Bel Air is like, you know, 20 plus years later is coming forward, and it's just really, it's so interesting just to see like the historical element to, you know, creating or reimagining this show from the original one. So I already have 2 interviews down. I already interviewed Coco Jones, and I also interviewed Jabari Banks. So now I have a couple more interviews, which will include Karrueche Tran and also the costume designer for the show. So I'm really excited about that. Karrueche is somebody whose career I've been following for a really long time. She's a fashion girly too, and I always was drawn to her because she's tiny like me. Like, she's thin as I am. So, you know, being able to see someone with that body type, with a similar body type to mine, being so fashion forward, and, you know, having fashion that is like couturied and tailored to that particular body size, I always really like that about her. So I'm excited to talk to her about that. I am also excited to talk to the costume designer because I don't think people understand like how much goes into fashion. You know, there's stylists, there are assistant stylists, there's costume designers, there are actual like fashion designers, and there are so many different positions within the fashion industry. So I'm excited to get some inside scoop into the fashion industry because, you know, this is me dipping my toe into the industry because it's something that I always wanted to pursue anyway. So, you know, you guys, just, I'm going to keep you updated, keep following along. I'll provide you guys some clips so you can kind of see, you know, what that look like, what type of questions I'm asking, because, you know, it's important to definitely do your research when you are interviewing anybody. But when you are interviewing, of course, people who are a part of such a popular show, because a lot of times they probably get asked the same questions all the time. So with my focus being specifically fashion, you know, that creates a little bit of a difference, like a little edge. It was really amazing to work on this because I talked to the wardrobe stylist, I talked to Jabari Banks, Coco Jones, Karrueche Tran about their characters and their fashion and the impact that you know, their characters are making, because this is a reimagined series. So all the characters, I think except Karuchi's character, are like, they have an original version of them from the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So that was cool, just to, you know, hear from the new Will and the new Hillary about how their previous characters, like their original character, really are like legendary when it comes to fashion in Black culture. And talking to the wardrobe stylist about, or the costume designer, I should say, about the fact that she did that. Okay, like every week they were coming through, honey, they were delivering. So that was amazing, and that aligns with, you know, my work in the fashion realm as well. So let's get into like the general notes that I want to leave you guys with before wrapping up this video. First and foremost, premiere days are literally like 12-hour days, okay? So you are working your regular 8 hours that you would normally work during the day, and then from evening until night, you are at the premiere. The red carpets themselves are about like 2 hours minimum, okay? And then after the carpet wraps up, and making sure you get the content that you need while the carpet is going, so like the arrivals and whatever cool moments that are happening on the carpet, making sure to grab that. And then from there, you may or may not get invited to actually screen it, or I should say to attend the screening of said movie, said show, like Creed 3. So for Creed 3, first of all, I really enjoy that franchise. Creed 2 is my favorite movie of the three. And for that particular franchise, you know, obviously there's a lot of years that has transpired between, you know, all three movies. And this particular one was Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, and we were being introduced to Jonathan Majors' character Damien, and I actually interviewed him, guys. I asked him, what advice would you give underdogs like his character Damien, and it was so amazing, because I'm like, the energy was there, okay? Like, he was like, really, I felt like he gave me the soundbite that I needed, okay, which is key, which is important. But also, I thought it was cool that he seemed very personable. I talked to Storm Reed, my fellow Trojan. Hey, girl. So we both went to USC. She's currently still at USC. I graduated there last year. And, you know, it was, these sirens gotta go. These sirens gotta go. Anyway, so talking to Storm Reed was really cool, because that's my fellow Trojan, and so that was one of our talking points. I was able to reel her on in by telling her like, hey, my fellow Trojan on the carpet or whatever. And so I was talking to her about how she balances and manages being a full-time student and a actress. You know, that has to be a lot. So we were talking about that, so that was really cool. And also, the cherry on top, honey, was talking to Vivica A. Fox. Yes, the Vivica A. Fox, legendary status Vivica A. Fox. She's like your favorite sassy auntie. And so she gave me like an inside scoop and exclusive on the carpet by letting me know that she is getting the original cast of Two Can Play That Game back together, and they are working on something very special, okay?
Two Can Play That Game still relevant today. That's my favorite movie of yours, girl. I love that movie. Is it still relevant today?
I'm really happy that I'm working on something that might have that cast back together. Strange.
So y'all heard that here first. She told me first, and I'm really excited to see like what becomes of that, because that movie is a classic, okay? So with these red carpets or premiere days being as long as they are, you guys need to know that there's no bathroom breaks. There are no eating and snacking on the carpet. Unless you're like me and you pack like cute little snacks, okay? Because I definitely would pack a little granola bar. I would definitely pack a little Rice Krispie treat, fruit snacks, like water, just so that I can stay hydrated and so I can keep the sugar levels up, honey, okay? Like, going all them hours, first of all, you're on your feet the whole time, so wear comfortable shoes. Like, do not wear heels. That's a no-no. Do not wear heels unless you swap them out right fast to put them on for a cute picture, or if you're not going to be on your feet that long, you know. But if you think you're going to wear heels for like 2-3 hours during the whole premiere while you're interviewing people, I personally don't think that that's comfortable. So I always wear flats to these premieres. I'll bring my heels for a picture if I'm getting a picture that day, but outside of that, I am definitely wearing flats to be comfortable. Okay, comfort is key, because usually there's a lot of moving around too. For me personally, in my job, in my position, I'm kind of like going back and forth on a carpet. Like I'm getting, you know, pictures and or videos and like social media moments from the photo pits, which is usually at the top of the carpet, and then I'm also going back to my spot on the carpet. Every outlet get their own designated assigned spot, and so I would go back there to accompany the reporter and capture interviews there. So I would probably be behind the camera, like recording the interview if I'm not the lead reporter, if I'm not the reporter on that assignment. So it's one of those things where it's like a 2-in-1 type of job. I'm kind of like kind of bouncing between two things at once. So it's about time management. It's about getting a feel for the carpet and just really being confident that you can execute and do your job, and make sure you are talking to the reporter so you are in alignment with them, what makes them feel comfortable, and also making sure you talk to your superior to kind of hear from them what is it that they're expecting from you that day, like what is the assignment for the day. Okay, because at this point, I'm at the point now where I know, you know, what my assignment is, or like what my work is. But first starting off, when I was first starting off and going to these events, I'm like lights, camera, action, like so much is happening at once. Like, am I supposed to stand here? Like, can I move around on the carpet? Because like, you know, they would definitely try to tell you like, stay in your spot, don't move. And sometimes some carpets, even still to this day, are like that. You cannot move, stay there, okay? And that's it. You just have to do the best that you can do. So that is definitely something that I want you guys to know, that it's like not one specific formula. You have to figure out like your groove and what works best for you, and also making sure that you come back with having completed your assignment for the day. And partnership and coordination is key. That way you are not overstepping. That way you're not making anyone feel like you are, you know, overstepping their job, or they're not able to complete their job because, you know, you're like in their way, or whatever the case may be. Like, communication is key, okay? Like, everyone has to work together in order to get the best content. Like, that right there, if you don't leave with anything else, that would be my advice when it comes to working, you know, in this industry, because it is so fast paced, and there are a lot of moving parts, and there are a lot of people in different positions, and everyone just have to coordinate and, you know, be cohesive for sure. The last advice that I want to give is definitely making sure you guys are prepared in life in general for where it is that you want to go, as much as you can be. And then also preparing as far as doing your research for each event, each premiere, each movie that you are going to be involved with. As a journalist, as a social media person, as a digital first presence, making sure that you are brushed up and up to date with as much as you can, because you just never know the way that the red carpet is going to go. Like, they may throw someone on you and you may wind up interviewing them, or you may need to be able to just be up to date on, you know, the different events and current topics and things like that, because you just never know. And as journalists, as media people, it's important anyway to always, you know, just kind of have like the top story circulating, or have background knowledge, a little bit about everything. That's what I was taught in grad school, like, know a little bit about everything. And you know, I really credit USC for aligning me with not only this job, but preparing me for the entertainment industry, because prior to this, you know, being back at home in the Midwest, like, I would have never been exposed to this. I would have never known like how these things go. And I'm just learning so much, and I'm just so thankful and so grateful. And each day, I know I don't give myself proper time to process this all the time, but when I do have moments like this, sitting and talking with you guys, I realize like, wow, I've really done a lot, and I'm just So thankful, so grateful, and I'm excited to continue documenting this journey. And yeah, guys, I will see you guys very, very soon. Make sure you are liking, commenting, subscribing, leaving down any questions that you may have. If you feel like I didn't answer something and you want to know a little bit more about it, I would definitely love to do another video. I would definitely love to, comment and reply back to your question, whichever way works best for you guys, because my goal here is truly to build a community. That's really important to me, and just kind of take you guys along on the ride. So until next time, I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.